this is Liz with Crafty Devotion. Today we're going to learn how to make this gorgeous pink fairy tale pumpkin. I will teach this tutorial as though you have a kit. You may purchase kits on my Etsy shop. Wrap this felt fabric around your pumpkin, and like I showed you to do it with my Christmas ornaments, we basically do the same thing. You can gather it any way that makes sense to you. That's all that it requires, really. And the rubber band is not going to be what holds it together, but it's what holds it together for you as you're starting. So now this is what it looks like. I just make sure I go all the way around all of the fabric. I make sure it's all up and out of the and up, and I stretch it out. We're going to make these all the corners meet up except for one, so 3 of the corners, and then I'm just gonna use this corner to wrap around all the others. It's kind of like a pocket, and you can actually do this any way you want, but I just discovered that this was actually a way that would work. And what I want is, I don't want this to be one shape all the way up. I want it to be fatter on the bottom and thinner on top. So I'm just going to wrap, and this is just your beginning wrapping, and see, that works really well. I really like the way this has worked. Okay, so now you can decide how long you want it, and I'm actually thinking it's a little big. I think that well, look, I like that shape. Okay, this is I've been working on this lace. This is a lace you will get in with your kit, and I had decided that this lace was too busy, but I loved the look of it for my project. So what I did is I basically took out every other one, and I'm going to show you how I did that, and you can see how it's on here and it's not so busy. And I also changed it so that some of them are long and some of them are a little shorter, and I'll show you what I did. So go through every one and take off this pumpkin portion, pumpkin apple, whichever that we want to call it. Remove it on each one. Okay, so then you don't start on the first one, start on the second one, and take your apple and attach it there. So every other one, see, now over here, attach your next apple. So you can see the difference, how that would look compared to this. So the thing with this pumpkin, when you are attaching them, we need to make sure that make a decision on how long you want it. That's what will happen. Over here, I just go around and I make sure that the length's about the same on the bottom of the longest one, because this is very close. It could actually drag. That's why I made it a certain size, so that it wouldn't drag on the bottom. And that's all I'm doing. And then looks like this side can go down a little more. After I'm done with that, then I'm just going to tack it down in a few places with some glue, because I will be putting more things on top of this, but I do want it to stay in place. I don't want it to be moving around, so I'm just going to tack it down a little. Okay, the next thing I'm going to give you will be a piece of this beautiful lace. I don't know the name of this type of lace, but it is, I was told from the person I purchased it from that it was actually vintage, and I took this lace and I dyed it pink, and of course I pressed it. And I'm going to want you to gather this lace, and I want you to gather it here, not at the tip here, but here. And I want you to just gather it all the way around. I have gathered mine. Okay, here's mine. Gather it like if, and you can see I gathered it right along here. And then I connected it. And this is going to go actually up around the top of your pumpkin. And I'm just going to make sure every piece is up. And then I'm going to put it as, make sure that when I gather it up, that it's down below. I just connected both sides and I'm gathering it up. And then I'm going to even out all of these so that the gathers about even. Okay, along this edge, the final edge, I'm just going to go ahead and glue it together. And then we just lie it down evenly, and you will have a cute ruffle all the way around. This piece right here, I used to carry it in my shop, and I kept a bit of it for crafting, and I use it to make my leaves. Now I'm going to use this in a dual sense. I went ahead and just kind of cut it like this, and just left this like this, because these parts I'll use for something else, and this one I'm going to use for the gathering. And you have to be careful, but I just put a little bit of glue in the center, and then you kind of fold it over, and you kind of just twist that little bit of glue in there, and it forms like a little petal. It's supposed to look kind of messy, so, and I'm going to place it like, here's that ruffle, I'm going to place it in here. I'm going to allow that ruffle to go up. I can always cut it off later if I don't like it. So as I'm designing, I want there to be these are basically an impression of leaves. The colors. So I'm lifting this up, placing it in there. And it doesn't matter, they're all different. They don't need to look perfect. Okay, we're going to keep on layering on top of this and getting it ready to continue embellishing. We'll be placing a lot of flowers on top. But we don't want to go too high. I even used the little scraps to make them, so I might have more than you because I use the scraps. So that's pretty much going to simulate a little bit of the greenery around the stem. And I'm just going to, you can use them all here, or you can save some because we still have the other pieces there. They'll be reused around. Some of them will do this to it, the same thing to it, and others will lay in a different fashion. But usually I start my base of the greens before, and then I add more in later. Okay, so there we go. I just put green all the way around it with this pink here. And the reason I'm not going to glue this down is because we will be placing glue on top of it with flowers. And here is a flower I decided I was going to use. And we're going to do these flowers in series of 3s. So you'll find 3 of this flower. And they are on a wire. And you can either cut the wire off or just roll it up like this and glue it down like that. And these are the flowers I'm going to place beside them. I'm going to go something like that. And try not to glue on top of your green that you already put down, because some of it right here is lying down. So there's a triple, there's the pink and the 2 whites on the sides, and you do that on every side. Okay, this one already looks gorgeous. You can see all my glue gun spider webs everywhere. Now I'm going to do a similar thing, but I'm going to use this. These are you'll see that some of these will look nice and flat, some of them will be squishy, but these are pre-made flowers. I'll try and give you the ones that are kind of flat, because these I'm going to now place these right here, and then we'll place some flowers right in the center. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then we'll place some flowers around them also. I'm just trying to decide if I should I think I'm going to go down. Okay, next we're going to place some foam flowers, and they are on a wire also. I actually have I had a few of these in my shop. When I'm done making these kits, I'll probably put them back in, because I didn't know what flowers I was going to use, so I actually took them out. But these have been selling. So really what I'm doing is I'm going to place the foam flower between this white one and this white one. And I decided to place it low. And there will be other things that we place in there. Okay, look how cute that is. Now, most of the flowers I'm using here, these, the 2 first ones we put down, were all flowers that I do no longer carry in my shop. It's the last of the flowers that I had. So what you're seeing here, the only ones I had been carrying were the paper and the foam ones. You know, before we continue, I am going to we're going to work on the stem. I actually forgot. I should have done it before I started putting all these flowers on. But luckily I still have quite a bit of room here in the center. So I think I'm going to do a double layer. Now I'm trying to determine, I'm going to place more flowers here. So I'm trying to determine if I need to trim this anymore. I think just straighten it out is all I'm going to do. Just straighten, not really make it any smaller. Because, let's see what size it is now. Don't remember what size it was, but as of right now, it's hitting about the 2-inch mark from trying to get the bottom. Yeah, it's about 2 inches. So that's a good height for it. And we're going to place a few more flowers and it'll go up a little bit. So that's one of the things is as you're designing, and then I'm going to wrap it with this ribbon. This ribbon has no stretch to it at all. So I'm just going to layer it and angle it so that I can actually get it around. And like I showed you in the last one, I usually meet up along the edge there. Let that dry a little bit. Then I'll start slowly creeping up and, you know, making sure it's kind of snug at the same time. When something stretches, you can, you don't have to overlap as much, but this one has no stretch at all whatsoever. And then I'm just trying to also go tight with it. So you make sure you do this part first before you put all the flowers down, okay? I think I'm still going to trim this a little more because I want to I'm going to use the ribbon and make the point, and I'm going to tighten as I'm going here at the tip. No perfection at all. And now, this is the one I wanted to put over it. I'm not sure if it's long enough. I don't know what my deal is, but I keep on missing footage because I forget to turn on the camera. But I ended up putting this on. That's what I was showing you. I'm going to give you plenty, and I decided that the best way to do it is to take a piece, take it and wrap it around, because it doesn't stretch. Wrap it around the base, glue it down, cut it, move it upward, and do it again. And just put all your seam in the same spot. And then to move it upward and do it again. And it looks like you'll have to do maybe 3 or 4 times. And to remember also that when you're trimming this right here, what I realized is that because I do the point on top, I did it twice, it ended up making my stem longer than I wanted it to be. So make sure that you keep that into account, that you make it pretty short, because it'll get a little bit longer. I hadn't really thought of that in the past, but there we go. Ouch. Okay, then I also placed some more flowers around here. I filled in here. I used 4 of these roses. These are another foam rose. It's a creamy white one. And then I filled in also with a couple of these, and I just placed them in areas. And make sure, if you're going to place them anywhere, wherever you're placing them, you go and you lift up the green part that that are supposed to simulate leaves, and the pink, and you lie it down. If we were gonna do it there, you just stick it inside like that, which I guess I opened it up, we can do it. But and then when we're done with that, I don't remember if I showed you this one. I also took a couple of these and laid them on the side with this one also, just placing them in areas where I see that there's a little space, a little room. You do as much as you want. And then I'll come over and start lifting out all the green. I want this green to show, so I'm going to lift that all out. And I like the pink too. This looks pretty. Okay, the next thing you'll find is these beads with some roses on them. Here they are. About a yard. I'm going to give you about a yard. And we are going to, because I look at my pink pumpkin, I'm using pinks and kind of like off-whites and a little bit of white and creams. But mostly white. I think it needs more pink. So what you'll do is I'm going to take this and we're going to place it around in different places. But we're going to begin, and I think I'm going to go ahead on this white spot. I'm going to start there. I decided right on this large white flower, I'm going to add some glue on the back and place the flower right on top of there. And then decide how I want the beads to fall. I think I'm going to just, what I do is I just twist it so that it forms a loop, and then I decide where's the next place I want it to go. And I think I'm going to choose it right there on right by the stem there. Okay, so now we added about what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more pink flowers, and you can see how it brought out the pink. Brought out that pink. And next, I think I want to put a little bit of green along this bottom. And remember those little pieces that we had? I'm going to start with this piece here, and I'm going to see how it looks right in here. I think it's too big, so I'm going to trim it. These scissors are not working very well. And look, it's just, you see the petals here? And then it's just like half. And I'm going to place it underneath this flower. Always make sure that when you are putting things on, now look, see how cute that looks? Just a little bit of green coming out. I decided it still needs a tiny bit of like forming so it can wrap around the flower. I'm going to put a little bit of glue. It's a little light, so. And I'm just going to squish it in there so it fits. And pull down so it's visible. A little visible. Now look how cute. So I just put them, that's how I expect to use these, is to find places I want to use them and make them look like a little bit of leaf coming down. I'm just looking around if there's any place I think this one I'm going to actually place it under. Most of the flowers are placed on top of that pink, so I'm going to actually go underneath that pink and place it under there, because the flowers are actually glued down. Okay, so these large pink beads, and that's going to add a little more pink. I placed one right there, and I look around for a spot that seems like there's quite a bit of white, and I'll place it right in there, and that'll bring out some more color. Look how gorgeous this came out. I added some finishing touches. As I was designing, I decided the last time you saw it that it needed a little bit more pink to make it really be a pink pumpkin. So I went ahead and added these flowers, these darker flowers. I added 3 of those, and that really brought out the pink. And I decided I thought this should be embellished a little bit. And I added a butterfly to the top there. And I'm going to put a crown on here. The crown, I actually had glued it on right here. And then I changed my mind. I decided that, anyway, so now I decided I'm going to place it right here, right where this flower is. And I'm going to actually remove this flower, and it's a good time to show you how I remove things if I decide that I change my mind. And I just use the tip of my glue gun. So basically, flower placement on this entire thing, you just have to go around and make decisions. And I started you off and I gave you a lot of flowers for you to work with. Okay, so there's the spot, and I think I'm going to place this right here, right there. Okay, I just got another flower. You'll find a couple of these little roses in your bag when you buy the kit. And I'm gonna I put a few extra flowers because I wanted to make sure that you had enough to place wherever you'd like things that you would like on there. And so now that kind of evened it out, so now I'm gonna place that like that on there, so it shouldn't come undone. And I'm basically placing it so I can miss this pearl. And I want the pinks to look through. There we go. And now you can see the glimmer, the beautiful glimmer of this thing with just a little taste of these gorgeous beads on there. And let's see what else I did. So I placed these in there. So once you get your main flowers, which I showed you how to put things in several sets of 3, then you start filling them. Now the other thing that I did also was that I noticed, remember I mentioned earlier that I thought the stem had gotten too long. The way to shorten your stem is also to go up a little bit. So for example, if this, I felt like I could pull that pearl up so the pearl is actually higher, and that will give you the illusion that if you actually make it too big. And I like the stem. I think the stem to me is part of the beauty of this Fairytale pumpkin that I'm making, these Fairytale pumpkins. And then I went along and I will place flat back pearls in your kit so that you can place them wherever you like. I placed some on the apples. I like placing it there because that's where I had glued, and I thought that made it. And now of course this needs to be cleaned up a little more. I still have glue hanging around here, but as you can see, let's see, here's one more thing. Now this flower right here, let me see if I can get one out of one of the bags. I already put kits together, but this particular flower has this green stem, and a lot of times when I like the stems, I will use those stems as a decoration. And so it was long. All I did was I took the stem, that is the stem, and then I just wrapped it around something the size that I want it to be. This happens to be my scissors. I think I used something else. And you make it kind of small or whatever size you like it, and you make it look like it's a little vine. So after you spin it up, then you stretch it gently, and now it looks kind of like a little vine coming out. And I folded it under and then left it sticking out. And the other thing you can do is you can work with the green pieces that you put in your, can you see now how those little things we put in there, they're just peeking out in different places, and you can just pull them out to the way you want that green so that it shows a little bit and gives a little bit of that color. And I look around for it and I say, ooh, that went down, got buried. This is Liz with Crafty Devotion. I hope you're inspired by my Fairytale pumpkins, and this is the pink one, and I used pinks, whites, and a little bits of creams, and this with a chocolate brown velvet. Make sure you subscribe or comment below, give me a thumbs up, and share, mostly share my videos with your friends, because when you share, that's when I get out there. And look forward to, because I will also be making a 5-minute version of this tutorial for your friends who like 5-minute videos. And I'm finding that a lot of people are really enjoying the 5-minute ones, and then they know they can come and look at the long one, like this one. Talk to you next time.